Rick, it's great to see you.
Hey, good morning, Keith. How are you?
I'm doing great. You're here in Phoenix, and I thought just your presence here would be a good topic for the podcast. Something right along the lines of taking care of yourself allows you to be there for others. And your commitment over the last 15, 20 years of really taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically has made a big difference. So I was wondering if you could kick us off this morning about, how your commitment has really made a difference in your life and your capacity to be there.
Wow. Well, thank you for the compliment. I'm not sure I live up to it, but I think that for all of us, we have to focus on our well-being before we can help other people. I think we have to be clear on what we want for ourselves in terms of stability and also in terms of our personal commitment to growth. I also think it's very important, as we've talked many times, to be in practice mode all the time. So you're mindful of when you fall off the wagon, so to speak, and you're not really doing what you need to do to maintain what your goals are that you set out for yourself. We talk about this all the time, Keith, but one of the issues I think all of us have is that we get to the point where we think we can put it on autopilot. And once we put it on autopilot, everything starts to fall apart because you try to take profit, so to speak. You try to figure that if you work out hard on Wednesday, then you can eat chocolate cake on Thursday. And if you do that, you're basically going to stay in the same mode. And the same thing is true psychologically and emotionally. I think we have to go through a number of trials where we trust ourselves and realize that we come out okay, even if it's not perfect. That is the way that we want to go, whatever that path is that's brought you that way. One of the difficulties that I think all of us have is we want to be perfect. We when we set goals, we set them, and sometimes they're a little bit too ambitious. But even if they're not too ambitious, I think when we set goals, we think we have to be perfect in pursuit of them. And that's not true. The reality is you can still keep your eye on the goal. And if you get knocked off, or if there's a deviation, or if life doesn't work the way you want it to work, the reality is you don't stop the goal. You don't stop pursuing the goal. You take a look and see where you are and just resume. Get back on the horse, get back on the wagon. You want to be a certain weight, or you want to have a certain personality trait that you're working on trying to develop, or something that you're trying to avoid that's not served you well in the past. The idea is to continue to have that goal and to do those things that are important for you to do. And if you fall short, that's okay. That's part of what we need to do to realize that we're still on the goal and we're still pursuing it. I guess this is an enormously fat topic, and I don't want to short circuit it, but I do believe that it's a matter of trying, a matter of keeping your nose to the grindstone and making sure that you're aware all the time of what you want to become or continue the way that you are that's brought you joy. The fact that you fall short is not important. You know, we're all going to fall short is the rule, and you just have to deal with that as part of what it means to be human and to continue your growth and your improvement over life. What do you think?
Well, I want to follow it up with a question that it sounds like that's been your attitude regarding taking care of yourself, so that you can, like, for example, this weekend, having a goal, but just being in not being making the goal the priority, but making your commitment to the pursuit of getting better every day. That has helped you, like this weekend, show up for a friend. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yes, I think so, Keith. I think, it's not only just showing up for the friend, it's showing up for yourself. We all go through ups and downs in life, and I think our lives um, are better for the more tests that we have. So the tougher things that we have to go through remind us that what we have is a powerful strength that we need to look at and continue to cultivate. So being there for my friend has everything to do with making sure that I'm in my best mode always, or I'm in my mode where I'm continuing to improve. So, for example, okay, I come up to Phoenix, I'm out of my element a little bit, I'm out of my routine, but that doesn't mean I still give up and not do what brings me health and fitness. So I still go to the gym, I still do my laps, I still do whatever I need to do to keep me in that place that I want to be. If I'm outside of that place, then I'm bad for myself and I'm not able to help other people. So you taught me this a long time ago that the rule is discipline. You know, it's not motivation. If you wait to be motivated, you might wait a long time. The idea is to have it on autopilot with respect to the discipline, not with respect to how you go through life. You're always focusing on trying to improve in your growth. But in terms of the discipline, that's the automatic part of it, where you're continuing to do what you need to do to be what you want to be. And that's it's not always easy. Like I say, the profit taking gets in the way. How do you manage with keeping yourself so fit and so able to help others?
It's what you said, I take care of myself first. One of the things that I realized, I don't know, before ToBeRe, for sure, is how I showed up as a friend. Like I wasn't a great friend to people. I was someone could call me, ask me for something, I would do it. But in terms of, just really nurturing relationships, investing in them, spending time with people, not as part of my checklist or fitting into my schedule, but really being there with someone. Not my mind somewhere else thinking about other things, but just actually being there. And how do I know I'm there? When if something happens that is different from the way that I expect it to be, am I good with it? So, for example, okay, we're going to spend 2 hours together. Something happens. We end up spending more time together. Like something happens, they need to, somebody in their family needs something, or we get delayed in traffic because there's an accident and I've got to be somewhere else in 2 hours. I can handle that. Like I'm really there. Like nothing on the outside is preventing me from being there that my schedule gets thrown off or whatever. I can totally be there without blaming or making them a problem. And I can be there, on the court with them, in life with them, without, you know, little Keith showing up. So I really wanted to make it a point to be a really good friend. And in order to be a good friend, I had to be a good friend to myself first. And part of me being a good friend of myself is doing some key things, and making it very simple. Like I got to be disciplined with myself. Not restrictive, but just disciplined because I want to get the most out of this moment. And part of that is, in early days, it was in the form of being really disciplined with academics in school, being disciplined with, how I showed up at places around people. A lot of that was projection of who I wanted them to like me or who I wanted them to think I was, but that fell away. And then it evolved to the way that I eat, making sure that I sleep well. But when it comes to my body, Rick, I think like my physical form, I've been given a gift, man, of this physical form. I
Yeah.
want to be the best steward of it. I want to honor this gift that I got. So that really influences what I eat. Me going to work out as consistently as I do. Me doing the hard things. I've been given a gift, man. I want to this physical form is capable of so much. I want to have that potential be fully realized. And the same thing goes with my conscious self. My job every day when I wake up is to keep pruning and uprooting all the distractions of little Keith that, in the form of little Keith, they get in the way. They make every moment a problem and things like that. And if I can do that to myself, for myself, then it's easy for me to show up for other people. Well, it's so easy. I see the parents who just give their kids everything or rescue them. I'm like, you're not helping this kid. You're crippling this kid. Like they need life to show up in whatever form it shows up so that the kid learns how to be disciplined in those moments, learns how to handle not just the moment, but handle themselves in the moment. And part of that means a parent taking care of themselves first. And very, I won't say very few, but I know a lot of people that don't do that.
Mhm.
And I just watch them, suffer. I watch them suffer. And so taking care of myself, Rick, is I tell people all the time, when I show up, I'm like, you're welcome. For what? Because you're getting the best of me right now. Like you don't even know it. You like this guy's kind. Yeah, I'm kind, but the reason I'm kind is because I've gotten rid of all this junk that would have been in the way of me being kind. Like you're welcome. Keith, I just love being around you. Yeah, you're welcome. I do a lot of work for you to be around this, and part of that is getting rid of little me. And for the people that show up so amazingly, consistently, in my life, like you, Rick, and our other friends and Matt and those guys, Rick, I thank you for doing the work on yourself that you do so I get the best of you. Like we're all born with so much love to give. I mean, just we don't need anybody else, but we were born with all this love to give. But so many people have this stuff in the way of it. Rick, I want to thank you for getting rid of all the stuff in the way of it. So all I get for you is love. I'm like this.
Well,
All I get from you is your love, man. So that's what like taking care of myself allows me to show up so well with my friends and ToBeRe, with my neighbors, with every space and path I cross with people because I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work so they get the best of me. And I want to honor those people that do the exact same thing. So when you told me that you were up here, helping a friend, I was like, my man, my man. Like, I hope that friend understands, like, this is no small thing. Like, I'm sure they're grateful, but if you could peel back the layers, like, like your capacity to show up this way all the time, like this just happened overnight. Like you've been working on this craft to show it consistently this way, and I just want to honor the work that you've done. I think you've heard the story about the guy who has a tractor and he can't figure out how to fix it. So he calling everybody, he's trying to fix it. He's spending weeks and weeks with this tractor. Meanwhile, his farmland is missing, the prime season for the land to be tilled. Otherwise, he's not gonna have a great harvest. So finally he breaks down, he calls in, the mechanic, the expert. Now this guy's been trying to fix it on his own for 2 weeks. The mechanic comes in, mechanic takes 5 minutes and gets the tractor running, and he says that'd be $2,000. $2,000 for 5 minutes. He's like, you're not paying for the 5 minutes. You're paying for the 40 years it took me to learn the craft, so I knew where to look.
yeah.
And Rick, that's what people are getting from you. The decades that you've been working on yourself to get to this point to where it looks easy. It looks like magic, but it's not magic. You've been working on this. You've been playing the scales. Now you play Beethoven, Bristol. Like, that's what you do now. Like Rick is like light on his feet. He didn't start out light on his feet. Like he worked on it. That's why he's light on his feet now. So I just want to thank you, Rick, for the way that you show up. I want to send blessings to your friend with whatever they're going through, and hopefully they know that this is no small thing that you show up this way. It's not. I know it's not. And I love you, Rick. And I just want to end there. You want to close us out?
Well, thank you, Keith. Again, I'm not sure I'm worthy of all those great words. I really appreciate it. But one little epilogue, I guess, for our show today, and that is that the journey is a lot easier when you're around like-minded people. So, to the extent that I'm showing up for you in a way that you like, it has a lot to do, more than you think, with who you are and who Matt is and who Tim is and who Pete is and who Brian is and all of our buddies who are like-minded in this journey. So one of the things that is very, very important is to try to um, be with those people who share the same kinds of goals and the same sort of ideas, that you're living on purpose, you're disciplined, you're vulnerable, you show your love to everyone who comes your way, that you help other people, all of the things that we talk about in the practice. Those are the things that other people exhibit that you can learn from when you're not on your best.
Yeah.
I've been in positions, I've been in terrible down in the dumps situations where you and the other guys have helped me out of it, not by counseling me, but just by being around me. If I go to the gym and I see that kind of bright energy and that wonderful other orientedness that you and the guys have, I'm part of that. I'm in the shadow of something that's gorgeous. So, it's we don't do it alone. It really is important to have like-minded people with you, and you need to find them. If you don't have them, you got to find them. And it's a trial and error process, I suppose. And it's not always easy, and it may be a long road, but you got to find others who are like-minded that are that are going to reflect who you want to be by the example of how they live, which is what you do for me.
Wow. Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate that. I love you, and thank you for a great show.
Hey, thank you, Keith. I always love being with you on these morning shows. It's like going to church. I say that all the time, but I wish we could have connected. I'm just so glad we have this time electronically to connect.
Me too. Thank you,
I
Rick.
love you. Bye
I
bye,
love
bud.
you too.